Hey there. So I know at EXP the fees, like revenue share, what are the costs, but it can be a little like kind of overwhelming because there are several ways to, most brokerages, it's real simple. Here's your fees, right? It's all output. EXP has a couple revenue options that make it a little more complicated, which is awesome, right? This is kind of you get what you pay for in terms of effort to understand this because now we've got a few moving parts, but thankfully all those extra moving parts are to your benefit. So I'm going to walk you through a really helpful tool that Kyle Whistle built, and it's the revenue share calculator and the fee calculator. What'smyrevshare.com is the website, and disclaimer: this isn't provided by EXP. It's an imperfect, spreadsheet, but it's pretty close. And if anything doesn't quite line up right, you can reach out and ask me a question. But I want to answer, give you the basics and let you kind of work through this. And, you probably have some questions that come out of working through this, but this will at least get you started. So let me walk you through it. So this is the first tab here on the bottom, the revenue share tab. And this is, up to you. Some people choose to be a part of recruiting at EXP like I have. They see the benefit in generating passive income that's recurring every single year. And if so, this is kind of how you figure that out, right? You can put in, various numbers. All the yellow cells have input on them. Everything else is automatically calculated. So here's the way it works. In line one, this is basically a key right here, like a little definition deal. So this just tells you how this works. In line one, so this is line one, right? You earn this percentage of revenue for every agent that you bring on, no matter what. That you don't have to have. You only have to have one person that you've brought on to EXP that's selling homes to earn income off your first line of people. Now, line two would be like if that person signed somebody up for EXP, they would be in your line two. But let's say that person goes out and sells a house and you've only recruited the one person. You're not going to earn any revenue from that line two person who just sold a home because you only have one person, and to be credited for any kind of income in line two, you have to have signed up 5 people at EXP, right? So it's EXP's ways of incentivizing you to continue to recruit, get more people. And on down the line, right? If that person signed somebody up, you would only earn revenue from them if you had 10 people, 15, etc. down the line. And it can't just be anybody. You can't just sign up people who don't actually sell houses. We all know that most realtors don't sell houses. So you have to have signed up somebody who is, and it's kind of defined down here in the FLQA section, has either sold 2 homes, one every 6 months or $5,000. So, that's the basic qualification for what we call an FLQA, frontline qualifying agent is what that is. So let's say you've got here one person that you've signed up. Now you have the potential to generate $2,800 worth of income from that person because they cap at 16,000 and you get 3.5% of that, right? So let's say they fully cap. You get the 2,800, meaning they sell enough homes to pay 16,000 into EXP. You would earn $2,800 from that person. And then, let's say they don't sell enough houses to do that. Then maybe they half cap. That'd be $1,400. Here we're saying, assume a half cap. That with the numbers that we've seen statistically, that's a good way to, be conservative and sort of, figure out what you're going to earn. So that is how you use this particular calculator. So one other thing you can do, you could kind of play around with the numbers and say, if you had some people down down the line, how would that look? But, again, these people aren't going to count, so I would just keep it at 0 unless you had enough people up on your front line. So keep that in mind as you're kind of playing around with these numbers to give yourself an estimate of how that might go. So this is just kind of fun. I mean, it's hard to know. It's hard to predict exactly how that's all going to go, obviously, but interesting to kind of play around with. You can see how big the numbers get when you recruit a lot of people. Now let's go over to the solo agent tab here. Okay, so this is where you really ought to spend the bulk of your time, and you could just plug in, your transactions. How many did you do last year? What was the average price? What was your commission? These days get squeezed a little bit, right? You can put in a certain amount of agents you've attracted if you want, or you can just leave that at 0. It'll show you your income, and then it just gives you the fees right here. Super simple. $25 per deal, broker review. That's every deal forever, always at EXP. Errors and omissions is $40 per deal, and that's capped at $500. And then tech fee $85 per month. And then you cap at 16,000, right? So this person would be really close to capping, but not quite. So let's bump it up to like 20. So, they're going to cap at the 16. And then once you've capped, the fees are, instead of splitting at 80-20, you get 100% of the commission less $250 per deal. That's the transaction fee. That transaction fee goes down after 20 deals to 75 deals. Now, once you have done that, if you get to that, you cap plus 20, then you have the possibility to become an Icon agent and get all 16,000 of that back, which you can see right here. So again, this is one of the revenue, the income options here. Now, there's more details here on what an Icon agent is. I won't go into that here on this video, but you can get that 16 grand back, and here's how you learn how. If you can do enough transactions to do 16,000 to EXP plus 20, there you go. After that, it's 75 per deal. So you can kind of plug all this in and see how it all looks. You know, here's your total cost to EXP, and then here's income. So you do have some of these that you're going to automatically get. Your first transaction, you get $200 worth of stock. That stock doesn't vest right away. It takes 3 years for you to be able to actually sell that stock. But the good news is the stock is like on a tear, so you'll probably be a lot better off than the $200 3 years from now. And if they let you sell it, you would, because we're all human beings. So you can thank them in 3 years from now for not letting you sell it and for it being worth probably a lot more money. Once you cap, you get a $400 stock option, which is great. And then you get the 16,000. Again, look at the details on that. That vests in 3 years as well. So that's all kind of revenue back to you, right? And then if you attract any agents, then you know, this plugs it in. What this is doing is this is assuming $400 per agent. You know, it's going to vary depending on how many homes that agent sells, that kind of thing, but it's kind of an average. So if you did attract, let's say 5 agents, you'd get that in there. So here in this particular case, you've got 21,000 to EXP. This person would not have capped with that many deals. That's not, you need to cap plus 20, right? So that's not enough. So they would not get the 16 back. So in this case, it would be 2,600 they would be getting back, and 21 out. So that'll give you the basics. You know, that gives you an idea of what you're doing. Oh, sorry, this 400 is for the stock. Every time you recruit an agent, you get $400 per agent that you've recruited. So that's what this is. And then it's got a revenue share. Sorry, the average is what it's averaging, and it's 800 there. So that gives you just a quick calculation, and you can kind of play around these numbers. Go, okay, it would cost me 21. You know, I'm not going to get this 16, so I got to take that out. That would be like 2,600 back. If I recruited some agents, that'd be 4 grand back. You can see pretty quickly, like the fact that there are options to get incoming revenue can very quickly make up for your any outgoing fees. So EXP, gosh, like if you're selling houses, especially if you're recruiting agents, it's like the best game in town in terms of fees. Let's say you went up to like 40, which at that point you would be getting the 16 back. Now, I mean, you're really at a place where the 24 minus the 18, you're paying very low fees. Then there's a couple other tabs here. Team leader, I'm not going to go over these, but you can kind of play around with these. You get the basic idea. Team members, Icon team leaders, and Icon team members. So give you a couple tabs there. So you can play around with those. That'll give you an idea of where you're at, and I'm happy to answer any questions or jump on a Zoom to kind of walk through specifics for you and your team. All right, thanks so much.